we return to our phone lines for our latest guest. I just want to say this. You know how in the sports world, when there's a big game that's hyped, it's very rare that the game lives up to billing, correct, Chris?
Very true.
Or a player needs to have a big game, and then that player actually has the big game. Very rare. So my wife and I, we spend literally, we're lucky our children still get to go to school because that's how much we spent on the tickets for Hamilton about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And we heard so many things about it, and we're like, okay, you know, we're trying to, you know, lay back a little bit because we don't want our expectations to be ruined because so rare does it meet. I'm talking about anything I've ever seen live, ever. I'm talking about a concert, a rock concert, anything. Does not compare to having seen Hamilton live on Broadway with the original cast that I've seen it. We've also seen it here in Los Angeles. It's a perfect musical. And it means so much also for our country and talking about what our country's all about. It is just remarkable. The music is amazing. The performances are amazing. And it's going to be back, the original cast for a film of Hamilton. They filmed it with the original cast, and that's going to be on Disney Plus July 4th week. That's going to be amazing. And he plays Lafayette and Jefferson in that production. And he is also in TNT's Snowpiercer that is going to debut this coming Sunday. It's already been renewed for a second season. Daveed Diggs here on The Rich Eisen Show. How are you, sir?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. Great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you. I'm a big fan of your work. I don't care if just walking through the door and just starting the interview that way. That's a fact.
Oh, man, I appreciate that very much.
I mean, you must hear that a lot from people that have seen Hamilton and you part of that original cast.
Yeah, it really struck a chord with people, and yeah, I feel very fortunate to be a part of it. You know, I've been friends with Lin-Manuel, who wrote it, and Tommy Kail for a very long time, and so for me, that process was just the same as everything else I've ever done, like making something you think is cool with your friends. But I've done that a lot, and nobody else seems to think it's cool. But then this one, everybody agreed with us. So, I feel very fortunate to have been a part of it.
All right, let me just geek out a little bit more on this before moving on to sports and your current projects. When did you realize? When did you realize this one in particular was special? When did you realize that this, when this was off the charts, Daveed?
Well, like I said, I knew it was special as soon as Lin sent me his rough demos with him singing every song, every part of every song.
Hold on a second. Wait, are you? That's how you were introduced to the music, the score, the book, the whole thing?
Yeah, Tommy had said, "Hey, Tommy Kail, who directed, said they were going to do a reading up at Vassar, and would I come out and do some stuff with them?" And I asked if he was going to pay me, and he said yes. And I said, "Of course, then."
Nice.
And then Lin sent me his demos, which were literally like garage band click tracks with him, you know, and rough sort of piano sketches of some of the melodies and him singing every part. And I was like, it's brilliant. These songs are absolutely brilliant, even in this very rough form. So again, I knew it was special. That doesn't mean that it's going to hit. You know, those things don't more often than not, don't line up.
So why do you think it resonated then?
A lot of reasons. It is just that good, you know, in terms of a piece of art. It also was handled really carefully. One of the things that all of the producers, Jeffrey Seller and Tommy Kail as well as the director, were really careful with how it was allowed out into the world. I think a lot of things hurry out. When people know something's good, you get so excited and you rush to put it out. We workshopped that for 3 years before it ever was on a stage, and then we went downtown for a while, and then everyone was begging for it to go to Broadway anyway. But we really took the time to develop it, and I think that's part of the secret sauce. And then also that time in our
we lost him.
Barack Obama's presidency. We sort of saw that in the future too. There was a kind of new buy-in to the American experiment by a lot of people, and the show was sort of representative of that.
So, and then before we move on here, when you're on a hit show on Broadway like that, and the people that you must have met backstage after a show. Name drop. Who's the one that you were like, I can't believe this person is backstage telling me about what a great performance we just had?
Honestly, I mean, you gotta understand. Like, I met everybody. Like, if you name a famous person, they came to the show. So many incredible artists who I admire. I have never been more starstruck than when I met MC Hammer for the first time.
Well, I mean, that's Oakland. That's your Oakland connection right
Oakland.
there.
And it took me right back to being a kid and seeing him on TV and thinking, oh, I could do that. You know, like it was that was the first tape I bought with my own money. Was Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. That was the most starstruck I've been. And now, like, we text. Like, he's in my phone. I still can't believe that.
So you and MC. So how is he in your phone? Is it MC? Is it MCH? How is he in your phone?
I think it's just Hammer in my phone.
Just Hammer. Way to go, David. That's a nice flex right there. So heads of state are probably back there. You probably did meet Barack Obama. You probably did meet the president and the first lady.
Many times.
I bet.
I mean, obviously, that's like, them having us out to the White House was
correct.
The wildest experience of my life. But
What about sports stars? What about any sports stars that you might have met back there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, God. So many. Magic came through.
Okay.
I remember. I was actually the show was in San Francisco when Steph saw it for the first time, I think. But me and Steph Curry have done a few things together since then. He was such a fan of the soundtrack and then saw the show when it was in San Francisco. So we met. It was another connection that happened via Hamilton. Anyway, that's a big one for me.
What about Marshawn Lynch? If you want to go Oakland, is Money Lynch ever? You ever crossed?
I don't know. I don't know if he's seen it. I don't know. You're more likely to see Lynch at his store on Broadway.
I bet. So
Lynch is in the town. He's not hard to find.
I know, right? I mean, and he's remarkable. I mean, that guy is truly about it in terms of Oakland. And, it's interesting, too. I got David Diggs here on the Rich Eisen Show about what a lush sports history of that town. And obviously the Raiders are now in Vegas. The Warriors are now across the way. I mean, your team would be which? Is it the Warriors? Is that your team, David?
Yeah, definitely the Warriors. Forever, always been the Warriors, even when it was hard to be a Warriors.
Right, and that would be pre-Steph, pretty much, right? You're referring to your pre-Steph era?
Uh-oh. Sorry, I lost you for a second.
Yeah, pre-Steph is the tough Warriors.
Yeah. Pre-Steph, but yeah, the directly pre-Steph when we were like training camp for great players that would go elsewhere. That was tough. Those were tough years.
David Diggs here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about Snowpiercer, and it's based on the film, which was the first Hollywood film written and directed by Bong Joon-ho, who is, I guess, did he win 5 times this Academy Award season for Parasite? Pretty much.
Felt like it.
Oh man, I don't know. He's the man of the year in the film industry for sure.
So, what was it like doing this show? I'll give you the floor and what we're about to see on TNT Sunday night, David.
Yeah, it's a wild show, man. It's set 7 years post an apocalyptic climate event in which the whole world freezes over, and everyone that's left alive is passenger on this train called Snowpiercer that keeps everyone alive as long as it keeps moving. So the train can't stop. And some people paid a lot of money for their tickets, and they exist in first class. And as you make your way back towards the back of the train, could afford less and less comforts on the train, all the way to the tail where my character, Andre Layton, is from, who was part of a group of stowaways, essentially, who boarded the train violently in order to save their own lives right as it was taking off, and have been allowed to remain there but enjoy none of the comforts of the train. And so, yeah, my character was also a homicide detective priest, and the instigating incident for the show is that there's a murder up on the train, so they have to come back and get Layden out to help solve this murder.
And that'll be debuting at 9 Eastern Time on TNT on Sunday night. And then you're in a new animated musical sitcom that's premiering the last Friday of this month on Apple TV called Central Park. And another colleague of yours from the original Hamilton cast, Leslie Odom Jr., and then two Frozen colleagues, and Josh Gad and Kristen Bell is part of this as well. What is this show about?
It's great. So it is a musical about it centers around family who are the father of the family, voiced by Leslie Odom Jr., are the groundskeepers of Central Park. And I voiced to kind of the villain of the show, named who's voiced by a stand. And they are trying to take over the park and essentially put a shopping mall in it. They're trying to figure out a way to get a park. It's incredible. The music is so much fun. When I tell you Leslie Odom Jr. he's amazing in everything, but he's a good friend of mine, and I didn't know he could do this.
Huh.
His voice acting in this is so good. It's so funny. I'm very excited for everyone to see it.
Well, that again will be on Apple TV Plus on May 29th, and then on Disney Plus on July 3rd, the Hamilton film. How many performances of Hamilton did you do, David? What would be the number?
I don't know. Countless. A lot. Over 500.
Over 500. So would you even be curious just to watch this back as a film? I mean, is that something that you're eager to see? It's been something I know that fans of this musical is ready to see. But I'm just wondering how it would be for you.
I'm very happy that everyone else is going to get so much joy out of it. I'm mostly terrified. I think
why?
One of the things I love about theater is that I never have to see myself do it. And for this to be as, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you talked about in the intro how hyped up it was. Like, I have been living with that now for 4 years since I left, with people talking about this performance of mine that I've never seen, and that's probably the only reason I can even stand that kind of praise. I don't like watching myself. I'll just shut my eyes when I'm on stage.
Well, David, if you need any help with that, I watch myself every day, I have no problem. But then again, the name of my show is on it. There is an I in both my first and last name. I do feel like I'm a team player, but and take my word for it, you're fantastic in it. So don't worry about it. It's going to be an easy watch back for you.
I appreciate you so much, man.
Thanks for the time, and good luck with Snowpiercer. And when we can have in-studio guests again, I would love to have you. Certainly when an NBA season is back and we can talk Warriors, we can talk all that good stuff. Be great.
I would love that. Let's definitely do it.
Right back at you. At David Diggs on both Twitter and Instagram, right here on The Rich Eisen Show. The Tony and Grammy Award winner. Doesn't want to watch himself back. I'll tell you, he'll be fun. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here